3 suspected criminals have been killed in yet another shootout with police in Umlazi, south of Durban. Yesterday's incident comes just days after police shot and killed 5 suspected gang members in Cato Manor on Tuesday. In the latest, in a string of deadly standoffs between police and suspects in the province. Meanwhile, KZN police spokesperson Robert Nechiunde has denied claims that police are being heavy-handed.
Criticism is misplaced, is uninformed, and it's coming from a point of people who are just talking without understanding the works of the police. We would like to urge the experts, the researchers, and those learned people who claim to understand policing to afford the police the space to work. Nobody wants to go out to work and come back in a body bag. Police go out to arrest suspects who are wanted for valid cases, and to arrest them, take them to court and follow the legal process until they are prosecuted. So for somebody to say police are heavy-handed, when police are shot and killed, the same people claim that police are ill-trained, police are weak. Police are not going to break down when criminals are taking over and shoot at the men of law.
Now, the National Deputy Commissioner has also defended the actions of the police.
In most cases, the community want to know where was the intelligence. Now, the intelligence is hard at work providing information where we identify these people long before they go and commit the offenses. When we go where we know that they are now gathering, they are planning to go and hit the next cash in transit, and the police go there to confront the situation. These are the people who will actually go out and make sure that they shoot at the police, and the police respond to the fire. And even the law permits for the police to use violence proportionate to the level of violence that is being to the level of violence directed at them at that point in time. So the police are actually responding to the fire.
Well, of course, this has brought back this sharp focus on the debate on whether or not police operations in that province exceed the bounds of legality. Let's speak to criminologist and TUT Head of Safety and Security Management, Professor Kholofelo Rakubu. Prof, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. Is the public, community, experts justified in thinking that there is some informal policy that is operating in that province where members of the SAPS are encouraged to shoot to kill?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I believe the police in KwaZulu-Natal, where now we're talking of the bullet approach, trigger happy, death approach, shoot to kill. We've been saying use intelligence to gather, to deal with crime. And in this case, they are saying we have utilized intelligence to understand where these criminals are and how they are planning their next move. Now, it becomes a whole debacle where now we're saying, why do you have to kill them, right? We politicizing police response, because we said when they are killed, we're saying you are not thoroughly trained, you did not know what to do, right? Now, the policy in place, which is the Criminal Procedure Act, Section 49, clearly specifies that they are supposed to use reasonable force, right? But that same criminal procedure does not specify reasonable force. It is as per the police discretion to respond as per the suspect's approach. What makes this matter complicated is that, according to the police, they responded as per suspect's approach. Yeah. And we hear and receive information from the police that they were heavily armed and they were in possession of drugs. So now how do you police or arrest a suspect who's on drugs and who's heavily armed? Yeah. So that remains a question, because we are saying Why are you shooting them? Why are you killing them?
Yeah.
But criminal procedure suggests they use reasonable force.
Yeah.
Now, when you call in and find AK-47, for example, why do we still have to question the response? Because they responded as per the approach from the suspect.
Yeah, mostly are saying that these are unsubstantiated claims, right? Yes, you might find an AK-47 here, you might find 2 firearms there, but experts are saying there is no even evidence that would suggest and point to the weight of that evidence to say the criminals shot first. So how do police then lend credence to their claims in this particular instance?
It is very difficult because we as aspect obviously will not be there. That is why this matter is going to be very difficult for the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, because they will have to at some point get statements from these officers, and the numbers keep on increasing. So evidence I understand, but how are we going to justify or understand and tap into that space where they're saying they present evidence, they present guns? Now a question is whether indeed those guns were found there. That we can never understand because of the nature of policing. Police will arrive there first, and we cannot question the evidence or even say, no, this was fabricated, it was not here. And again, as to there are multiple assumptions around the people that are killed. We hear those were suspects, right? But we've never even assessed whether they were all suspects, right? All those that were killed by the police officers, whether they were all suspect because of the nature of policing. But we hear they were shot at first. Who's supposed to prove that? How are we going to prove that? So this also challenges criminals as well to decide when they now take decisions to commit crime, because it is going to be very difficult to even point or identify who shot first. It is their word against each other. But the fact is now there's evidence according to the police, right? And again, there's no one to respond because in most cases, 5 suspects will be going down. So there will be no one, right, to even come in and say, no, I was not part of the group, I was shot at and this and that. Yeah. All of them go down. And the kind of ammunition found, they normally find in the crime scene suggests that these suspects were ready for war. Yeah. And in other cases, Tabu, we should give police credit because it has been proven where now some of these suspects, right, are linked to multiple crimes in KwaZulu-Natal.
Yes. But what about the families then of the wrongful killings? Why are they not speaking out? I mean, if they are there...
We're waiting, You see, we're waiting to hear or see a family of a girlfriend, for example, right, who maybe might have been shot, because I haven't heard stories around a girlfriend being found dead in that mist, right, or wrongful arrest or wrongful killing. We are waiting to hear if there's such, because researchers are hard at work to try to figure out who is being killed in this case. We hear this is a suspect. Is it indeed a suspect? Which crimes are they linked to? Definitely, that we need to assess. So at the moment, it's police 1 and offenders 0.
What could possibly go wrong here in terms of, 1, we say police don't do this, and police will say, well, look, we'll then lose the war against crime because you are now curtailing our ability, as you hear the spokesperson there, leave us to do our job. This is policing work, right? And on the other hand, we are saying there are victims here that could be disadvantaged. What could possibly go wrong both ways?
What could go wrong? We will continue to lose more officers because war has been declared, right? Certain obviously suspect will just shoot because there's fear around that. When they come in, just know you are ready, because now it looks like the death approach or the shoot to kill or the trigger approach, it is. So offenders or suspect will respond as such way across South Africa. And now bystanders are highly at risk because they will be caught during crossfire. They might get injured and so forth. So what could go wrong again is what? Like I said, IPID's inability to look into these claims. Do they have enough capacity and resources? Because this is too much. I'm sure it is more than they've ever have to deal with. Will they have enough capacity? Will they have enough resources? And others even questioned, will they have enough political will looking into calls around police response to crime? We've been saying an eye for an eye, respond accordingly, utilize intelligence. Now they are saying this is how we have utilized the intelligence, this is who we are finding, and this is what they use to find us, and this is how we are responding. What more are we asking from them? Yes, we want to give them an opportunity, but we have to question reasonable force. Now, it becomes difficult as well to question reasonable force because AK-47's response is AK-47, in my understanding. What will this say? This will now, it's just a war has been declared. As to whether it will have an impact in the reduction of crime, we are waiting to see that, because we also need to assess KwaZulu-Natal's level of criminality. If now this approach, an eye for an eye approach, is working in KwaZulu-Natal, then crime should be reduced. But otherwise, South Africa's crime is out of control. And the landscape has evolved. An offender has evolved. Like I always say, we're dealing with an offender that will go for police officers first before they even should. But now we're still also calling for the finalization of the review of the Criminal Procedure Act. That should be clear in that section 49 to specify what is reasonable force.
Prof, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on this morning. Professor Kholofelo Rakubu there, criminologist.